Okay, so today to get started, the very first thing you want to do is put on a little bit of eye cream. But you just want to use your ring finger and just put this kind of all underneath your eyes and just use a really light hand just because that's a really fragile area. But just like really moisturizing right under your eyes is going to make your concealer just look and last so much better. It'll make it last all day, and it'll help it to like not crease or not like cake up on you and all that kind of stuff. So it's really important to just really hydrate underneath your eyes. And it's good to do it like morning and night. So do this before you go to bed and then before you kind of put on your makeup, and that'll just really, it has a lot of like anti-aging effects just to keep that area really just moisturized. And I did put a little bit of this on my eyelids before I did my eyeshadow as well. So then after you kind of did that, and I've already put on like a moisturizer just on my face, just any like any lotion or moisturizer that you like will do. So then after you have moisturized, then you're going to want to go in with a primer. And again, these are all just tips on kind of how I get my favorite canvas to work with, you know, when you're doing your face. So anyway, some primers, I'm going to show you a few different ones that I have. So another one, like I just got this on clearance at Sally Beauty. And this is the Mineral Effects Face Primer. And as you can see, it was just like on sale. So that was cool. I don't know, it's just fun to try different ones. And then one of my very favorites though is this e.l.f. Mineral Face Primer. And this is $6. You can get it at Walmart or Target, and I really love this one. Okay, now this one, next one, it might seem kind of funny, but it actually works really well. So this is the, by Monistat, it's the Chafing Relief Powder Gel. And I read, I can't remember, like a dupe blog or something. Anyways, this has like a lot of the same ingredients as all of the really high-end primers do, and I looked for myself and it does. So anyways, this works as a really good primer. But kind of like my favorite primer has like a silicone kind of consistency. So I'll show you. See how it kind of just like mattes things out and just blurs it? So that's kind of what you want your primer to do. So you want it to like fill in your pores and just give you like a nice matted canvas to go work with. Just kind of blur out imperfections and that type of thing. So today I'm going to use my e.l.f. Mineral Face Primer. Okay, and then you just kind of want to rub this into your skin. You want to focus it more so like in your T-zone area, just because that's where you're going to have the most pores and that type of thing. So, and then once you kind of just rub it all over, then you just kind of want to press it into your skin. Using a primer is really going to help your foundation like stay on your face really well, and it's going to help it last a lot longer. It's going to help it be a lot more true to color. And it'll help it just apply better. You won't have to use nearly as much just because it helps it blend out so much better. It'll just blend out beautifully with a primer. So that's really a big reason to use a primer. So the foundation I'm going to go in with today is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. And this is the matte and poreless edition. This is a really great foundation. I've really been loving it. So a good foundation brush is going to be one that's really dense. So see how that's just really dense? Like that this is a good option one. So anyways, now I've got my foundation on my hand, and then I'm just gonna start and just stipple it in like I talked about. And it's important that you stipple it as opposed to rubbing it, because do you see how when I rub it, it like gives streaks? I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but it just streaks it and just smears it. But if you really like stipple it like that, that'll just really push it into your skin and make it stay, and it'll make it just really kind of like cover up your pores, and just so it'll just look a lot more natural if it's just really buffed out and blended versus rubbing it. Okay, another foundation tip is to, so get your brush and then get a little bit of a setting spray on your brush. So like the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set would work, or the NYX Matte Finish would work, or like MAC Fix Plus would work. Today I'm going to use the NYX Matte Finish, but spray it on your brush and then go in to blend your foundation, because that will really, it'll help your foundation like stay on a lot better. And then you really want to push it up into your hairline all around your face so that there's not any lines like around your hair. So just really don't be scared to bring that down into your neck. And then another area that people a lot of times forget is back by their ears. So just kind of blend it right around back by your ears too. Okay, so then as far as like blemish covering goes with foundation, like I would put on your foundation first, then see if you still need the concealer on after, because a lot of times heavy coverage foundations, they'll totally cover up your blemishes or whatever. So anyway, see if it'll cover it, which I I've got one on my forehead that's lovely. So I'm going to go in now with this concealer from NYX. It's the Above and Beyond Full Coverage Concealer. This is in the color beige. And this is, like, see how thick of a product? I mean, it's like a cream. It's not any kind of a liquid. And when you're covering up blemishes, you do want to have a really thick, like thick consistency concealer instead of, you know, like a liquid one. So I'm just going to dab a little bit just on the spots that I feel like I need it. And this is another thing that, like, if you are trying to get absolutely flawless face, then go in with this concealer right around the areas that you tend to get red and just put a little bit there. So, like, I know that around my nostrils can get kind of red sometimes. So I'm just going to put a little bit of concealer right there. Okay, so just kind of dab that on just like with your finger, and then just leave it for just a second before you do anything else. Just kind of let it sit there and sink in for a minute. And then, because then after a few minutes or whatever, then I'm going to go back in with my foundation brush just to kind of blend it a teeny bit more. But you really don't want to blend out your, like if you're trying to cover a zit or something, you don't want to blend out your concealer too much, or else it'll just completely blend and it won't cover anything. So, I mean, you want it to look like seamless, but you don't want it to be like too blended in, if that makes sense. Then spray a little bit more of your finishing spray and just kind of go back over them just a teeny bit, just to make sure that that concealer did get blended out really easy, or just really nicely. Okay, so then we're gonna move on to under eye concealing. People like to conceal their under eyes because they get, you know, kind of dark circles or some bluish, purplish colors kind of try and come through and that type of thing. So the biggest way to counteract that, or to combat that blue and the purple coming through, is going to be a yellow concealer. You really want it to be a yellow tone concealer, at least first off. Like some people do a really yellow one right at first and then kind of go over it with more of a natural skin tone type one, but I find that just using a yellow one works really well. So like a cheaper option is the is this e.l.f. Cover Everything Concealer, and it's in the color Corrective Yellow. And I mean, it is pretty yellow. I mean, it's like strikingly yellow when you look at it, but I'll show you a couple of my favorites. So another concealer under eyes that I really love is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Another one that's kind of fun to use that's more of like a really highlighting concealer. Actually, this isn't even really concealer at all. It's just a highlighting, but it's by Hard Candy, the Light Bright. I'm going to go ahead and use my e.l.f. Concealer, and I'm going to use this little brush. This is a really great concealing brush. So, okay, I'm going to just put a little bit on there. And then what you want to do is you want to make it kind of a triangle shape, instead of, like a lot of people just do right there. But to really make it just look really awake and well rested, you really want to do a triangle shape. And I know that this looks really intense right now, but I mean, once you just really get it blended out, it'll just really give your face, like, it'll just make you look like you're in your best lighting. And then I always pull mine up just kind of to extend it. Anyway, so I just kind of place it with this brush, just kind of get it where I want. But this isn't really a great blending brush. So then I use my finger, or another thing that I like to use is this little stippling brush. This is just by the e.l.f. brand. And then I just kind of go in and stipple it on that way. And look at what a difference that makes. It just makes you look so much like more awake and just rested. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do my other eye. Okay, so that's a pretty intense under eye highlight. So if you do, which I go in pretty dramatically with my under eye highlight, but if you do that, you kind of want to even it out with the rest of your face. So like the couple other places that it's good to highlight is a little bit on your chin. Which I don't highlight my chin too much, but just to kind of even out the highlight. Put a little bit on your chin, and then put a little bit up on your forehead. and then just like down the center of your nose. It's really important to, like after you put on your foundation too, do a little bit of highlighting and contouring, just because when you do put on your foundation, it just makes you kind of ghostly and all one color. And like that's not naturally what our faces are like. They're not all one color. You know, there is shadows and highlights and that type of thing that a lot of times foundations can cancel out. So it is important to kind of go back in and put color where you want it and put, you know, the highlighting where you want it and that type of stuff. Okay, so once I've kind of got that on, now is when I would go in and do my cream contour, which I'll just zoom through this. Okay, so even if you don't set anywhere else on your face, you really want to set your under eyes because that will crease. So to set my under eyes, I'm going to use the NYC Smooth Skin. And this is just a really fine milk powder. Looks like this. And I'm just going to use this kind of fluffy brush. Like I said, depending on your skin type, a lot of people don't have to set their whole face, or they kind of like that dewy finish. But I prefer a pretty matte finish. So I do set my whole face with a powder. So I'm going to go in with this Revlon Age Defying one. Now one thing, okay, so I have like the blemish on my forehead. So one thing to keep in mind if you do have a blemish is powder will be your best friend. So before I just go in with a big powder brush, I'm going to just go in with a teeny brush that I have a little bit of that powder on and just go over that first. Just because we spent that extra time with that concealer right there. And so you just want to set that really well. Because sometimes when you go in with a big fluffy brush and you're like trying to conceal a zit or something, it will just kind of like, messes it all up. So anyways, kind of just take some extra time and put it on that. Or like a sponge, if you have like a little sponge that they come with, just like dab it on that little blemish. And then just kind of go in the rest of your face though, just with a fluffy brush. Okay, so another tip I have is don't ever go in with a cream product after you've put powder on it, or else that'll really make it look cakey and just not good. It won't blend out. So do everything cream that you're gonna do and then go over everything with a powder. A lot of people like to use like a translucent powder, which is fine. So now we've kind of got a good, I mean, you could go out like this and be fine. But I'm gonna go in and just contour a little bit. I'll probably zoom through a lot of this, but I'm just gonna be using this palette and those two colors just to kind of deepen up. I'm going out on girls' night tonight, so. Okay, and then the final step is blush. So I'm just going in with my favorite. I use this all the time, Romantic Rose by Milani. Everyone applies their blush differently, so that's really a preference thing. It's like some people apply it right on the apples of their cheeks. Some people like to kind of bring it back a little bit more. That's more so what I like to do, is just kind of put it right above where I contoured. Okay, and then one more little tip I have with kind of face makeup. If you do have a lot of scarring and blemishes like I do, then try and stay away from shimmery things, because that'll just, a lot of times that can really make it stand out, at least in my case. So I try and avoid things that are shimmery. So like this blush has zero shimmer, zero sparkle in it. Like my powders, none of them have sparkle. Do you hear my birds? Oh my gosh. Anyways, so I try and avoid sparkly things just because I feel like it really makes my imperfections on my skin stand out. Now that's not the case with your eyes though. Like I said, tonight I'm going out for a girls' night, so I just did a little bow in the back of my hair. Okay, so here's the final look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed some of my tips for foundation and concealer, and I hope you have fun playing in your makeup. See you next time.